Hey, it's me, Nitro Man, and I want to welcome you
It's me, JimmyTheGreat, as I refer to myself in Steam. And we're doing something a little bit different today. I'm not using a single script right now, and while I'm working on the newest animation, I've decided, hey, why don't I do some creator commentary? Because I don't know about you, but whenever I played games growing up, if there was ever a developer commentary section or any sort of behind the scenes, I absolutely loved it. And I felt like, maybe my little user base might actually enjoy the same exact thing. Or watch base. I don't know what the terminology for that is. Viewers, that's the one. And yeah, again, very unscripted. So don't expect any coherency from little old me. I do, though, have some talking points. So we're gonna look at the very first episode I ever kind of made. Technically, I made a pilot, but the pilot ended up being okay. Wait, hold on. So if you know nothing about SFM, you will not know much about this. But if you do know SFM, all I need to do is say a 10-minute session file, and you'll know exactly how that became lost media. Because every single time I go to rewatch it, it crashes instantly. SFM is not a good software. So effectively, that whole thing was lost to time. Maybe I can make like a recreation or like an animatic on it. But as of right now, that's completely lost media. Anyway, Rapids, which was the very first episode I truly made. Wow, does it have so many non-canon things? I made this at a young age, 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. I'm gonna check. You guys can check. But I made that a long time ago, and there's a ton of non-canon stuff in this, just because, like, legitimately, I didn't know where I was taking the story, or if I even was making the story at this time. So I'll just give you some behind the scenes on this stuff, and I'll plan. If you like this, I'll plan on making more for my future episodes. Which please like this, because my goodness gracious, I want to talk about the Nitro games. I loved that episode. So fun to make. But anyway, let's begin to watch this. Heavy's hut. Okay, so I already paused it and I just started. You might notice this looks like garbage. That's because I didn't even have like a gaming laptop or anything that had high graphics quality at the time. I was essentially using a laptop that my parents got me that was made exclusively for schoolwork. It was not meant to handle games at all. I ended up installing Steam and SFM myself. I wasn't allowed to. Don't disobey your parents, kids, but also that's how I was able to start making animations. And my goodness, it looks rough. I mean, again, no shame towards what I did in the past, and again, it's the artist that matters. It's not just the computer. But yeah, every single time I booted up SFM, it would give me a warning that said, hey, your computer sucks. And now, thankfully, I've upgraded since then, so I'm able to make better content. But at the time, like, okay, there's something in SFM called bloom scale. If you tone it up, it essentially turns up not the brightness, but like the emphasis on the glow particles. Every single time I turned up the bloom scale, just a giant a diagonal white line would just show up. And I don't know how to get rid of that, but essentially I had to turn it off every single time. So that was fun. What was even more fun is that while working on this stuff, I was on my hands and knees on a couch. No, not a couch, on my bed. So imagine a bed, and then you're on your knees, and then your arms are kind of like daisy chaining from the top. Yeah, that was me making all of these animations. Not the best or safest way, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get when I get older, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna feel it. But as of right now, that's just kind of how it worked. Okay, I'll move this along a bit more. I'll talk more as it goes on. Just 1 minute break. Okay. So multiple things here. First off, if you can't tell, there's a lot of more Team Fortress 2 characters in this. And that was TF2 characters come with SFM. They are very easy to animate. And again, getting onto my early stuff, I was like, hey, I'll make it with TF2 characters because I love the game. It's a great game. But as I got, I guess, wiser in my career, well, not career, I guess just more experience, I wanted to I wanted to diversify myself a lot more. So I started like excluding TF2 characters and pushing more either original characters or just like characters you don't really see in SFM that much. That's why in all my animations, there's like a borderline rule, no inklings. Even though I love the Splatoon series, no inklings are allowed because they're used a lot in SFM, and I just want to I guess, challenge myself to be different than everything else I've been seeing in SFM so far. Also, the reason I chuckled earlier, this little effect you're seeing that's meant to be a heat wave, yeah, that's Girardi. If you don't know what Girardi is, look it up in TF2, and don't say I didn't warn you, but you should know. Oh yeah, and also, the voice here. That's not coming from an external mic. That's coming from my first computer's internal mic. There's a recording software in SFM. You just press record and you're able to record dialogue. It's not good. It's not good at all. It really sucks. So, looking back at it, yeah, not the best decision of my life. But then again, I didn't really have many alternatives. The only alternative I did have, which we'll get to in the later episodes, the phone had oh my goodness. Wow, scriptless isn't really looking good on me, is it? So phones have voice memos, at least Apple phones do. And I would record voice memos, email them to myself, and upload them into SFM using a wave MP3 to wave converter or whatever the netcode is. But that's what I ended up doing for a lot of these later. But as of right now, you're gonna hear my crunchy, young, adolescent voice. So yeah. Come join the Red Swimming Club. All the lights you need. Here are the directions. The directions. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I was thinking, but this is the quickest episode I ever made. It took me a month, maybe. Which compared to how long it takes me to make stuff now is insane. And I think that's in no due part to the fact that I cheated a lot. I still like that transition. But what I mean about cheating is I would just like move the camera, and obviously that makes sense. But I'd move the camera for like long shots like that. Like that shouldn't have been 41 seconds. There should have been a Here of a Direction segment. What does that add to the story? But again, early career, never get down on yourself for what you originally did. You can learn from it, which I did. And I'm very happy I made this stuff. But again, it's always fun to just reflect and be critical on what you did and how you do it differently now. But I'm still proud of what I made back then. Even if you can look at the heavy right now and you see that his little martini isn't even being held in his hand. And again, nowadays, I'd never put alcohol in my animations. Or maybe I would. I'll think on that. Ugh, this is the grabby arm. No particle effects. I should have added. Okay, I am actually. Okay, so in my early animations, I would like just do random concepts that I remember like liking as a kid, like a young kid. One of my favorites was going to like a local water park. So this whole episode was made during the summer, I believe. And just this shot right here of the heavy in the car, that is literally me as a kid. That is me getting excited to go to a water park with all the stuff. Yeah, no, it was fun. What the heck? Oh, okay, my headphones just went crazy. My bad. Let me pause this recording. Looks like I got a food delivery. Okay, that was some tasty stuff, but I'm back! Haha! And wait, what was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, nostalgia. A lot of my early episodes were made in nostalgia. In fact, okay, if there's any animators or like script writers or anything, I think one of the strongest things you can do with like film writing and stuff is to take stuff from your childhood that you loved or found interest in, amplify it to like a million. Like my newest episode, not to spoil too much, but it's definitely based around something I liked a lot and still do like a lot and wanted to make as a kid. But yeah, you'll see that soon enough. Explosion. And the gate doesn't open because I didn't know. Yes, the title cards. Okay. I'm still 50-50 on whether or not I'm going to include the title cards on my newest animation, but these, I don't know what started them. Well, obviously this one started them, but I don't know what actually got me in the headspace to start doing it, but I just kept doing it, and I think it hit its peak at, what was it called? Having Some Monstrous Night. Well, how it was synced to the music and stuff, that was nice, but it may or may not disappear. I don't know if I want to keep doing that. Not for like any resource intensiveness or anything. Like they're pretty easy to make. But I don't know. It's not the most sleek thing. But it is cool. I do enjoy making them. And Wario and Waluigi, originally meant to be way more villainous than they ended up being. Like Waluigi is practically one of Yoshi's like better friends besides not Garg. Garg. I'll get to that later. But besides the Smash and Lil. But Waluigi became good friends. And Wario's still here. He still hangs out with Waluigi. He just doesn't care. He just kind of sits on his butt all day. You know how it be, garlic and whatnot. What lights you need? Well, hold it. There's only 1 minute left. I still remember some of the dialogue I put in here, obviously. But oh yeah, I wanna discuss with you guys some animation stuff I did here. So if you notice, there's 2 ways to animate in SFM. Well, there's multiple ways to animate in SFM, but the way I did here was not the way you should. So in SFM, there's the keyframe editor and then the motion graph editor. The keyframe editor is essentially you're able to set poses and then tween in between them, essentially changing how fast an arm moves from point A to point B, adding point like 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, all the way through B. So you can essentially fine tune and make a well-polished animation. It's intensive, but it looks great when it's all said and done. Then there's the motion editor. The motion editor is really good for editing pre-existing keyframes, or you can just be a barbarian, which I did, and literally press the play button. And as your animation is running, move the limbs. And by doing so, you kind of I think the technical term is puppeting, but you literally just move and bend limbs, and the result is uncanny. I'm not perfect. I occasionally still use that for like minor background characters or like minor movements, but in general, I stick purely to the keyframe editor. But again, the keyframe editor is intimidating, but I obviously recommend it. Cool. That little run animation Waluigi just did, I think that in this first episode is like the most proud I've ever been of animating in my life. In this episode. Like, look at that. Look at him go. Like, I was so proud of myself, and I still am, and also I really, really, really love the little the goggles on Waluigi, and I really, really like the visor on Wario. Both, again, I said I wouldn't use Splatoon, but I use their shirts all the time. Lil's shirt is literally a Splatoon shirt, and it's great. It looks awesome on her. I can't wait for you people to see her new redesign. She looks great. And they drive. And there I am, moving the camera manually. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna have to mute this, but I played the song Dr. Feelgood by, let me check. I'm pretty sure Motley Crue? Let me check. Hold tight, please. Who made Dr. Feelgood? Motley Crue, there we go. Okay, so by Motley Crue, which again I associated with water parks as a kid. And I had heavy. Okay, you can't hear. Maybe I can play a small segment. I don't know how copyright is, but I edited Heavy's voice to say "Doctor Feel Good," and it's funny. I like it. There it is. Oh, the Nut Buds, which is what I originally called them. Which stupid name. Why did I name them that? That's so inappropriate. Now they're Nutcase and Nutmeg. That's them. Nutcase and Nutmeg. If you're wondering which one's which, I don't remember, and frankly, I don't care. These two are just returning characters that I wanted to show up in every episode just to do nothing. I was kind of inspired by the old, I don't know what it was actually called, but the original Mega Man cartoon, where there's Cutman and Gutsman, which if you can't tell, I absolutely love Mega Man. That's why there's so many characters in my animations based around Mega Man. But Gutsman and Cutman would just show up, do some stuff, and then skedaddle. They never actually make a difference. So these two are kind of like my foil to that. And also, you're about to see a lot of non-canon stuff. I don't know if I have any lore fanatics out there yet, but if you're wondering, this was they're making this up. Nutmeg is completely BSing all of this. He read it on Tumblr, and it's a false post. And again, Dr. Feelgood's still playing. The Nutbuds. Well, actually... Oh, wait. Oh, the text boxes. Okay, so... I don't know what I... Again, everyone at the beginning of their, like, whatever you're doing, at the beginning, it's never going to be as good as you are now. With that being said, I don't know what I was thinking when I made these text boxes. Like, this one doesn't look bad, but later on, you'll find that a lot of these legitimately cannot be perceived. They are small and unappealing. Again, you've seen it in the newest episode, The Foul Doctor, at least as of this recording. The Foul Doctor, you've seen Lil's text box and Faust's text. Faust's? Yeah, Faust's text box and Lil's text box. That's going to be the new style going forward. Obviously, I redesigned Lil again, which again, can't wait for you to see that. She looks amazing. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Wait, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. They look way better than this, and I'm very happy I did that, but I don't understand why. Like, there's no background. It might be default text, too. No, whatever. Moving on. Yeah, there we are. This is the non-canon stuff. Found it right here. Oh yeah, so the actual post isn't going to have this, but the developer commentary will. So if you can't tell, obviously I'm an American. But originally I had this based in America, and I was traveling around mainly New England, and I was like, this is a pretty cool spot. And I'm like, I want to make my series around this place, which again explains the Winnipesaukee location you'll find in the next episode, I believe. But I wanted to base it away from the real world. I wanted it very much so to be a fictional world with some real world topics, which again might show up later. But I didn't like the idea of, hey, this is America. I want it to be completely unique. So I took a page out of some other shows I've been watching. Guess if you want. And I decided, hey, I'm going to make this a fictional island. Why? Because it keeps everything compact and close together, and it makes sure that everything on the island affects everyone. And it's not like this big global conflict. It's just an island, a large island, mind you, but it's still connected, so to speak. And that's how the island of Northwood was born. And I love it. I genuinely am very proud of making the island of Northwood. Not to toot my horn too much, but I just like the name, and also I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll explain later. I gotta keep audience retention somehow. There they go. Oh, holy shoot! Okay, those. Okay, I take back what I said with the Waluigi animation. Though these walking animations, this is when I started experimenting with walking animations. Even though I used the keyframe editor for these, it's probably easy to tell, but I used the motion editor for their root transform group. What's the root transform group? It's essentially the core of every model. So it moves them. So essentially I had this, at the time, really good animation, and I was just dragging them, like, move like I want you to. I don't know why I went all the way to do that and then just completely forget about actually animating their movements, but oh well, what are you gonna do? They had very different aspirations for its future. Yeah, so I don't want to say too much about my history, but I very much so have an environmental complex. So that's where this whole conflict was going to come from, and the whole series was going to have undertones of environmentalism. And although I still have that belief, I genuinely, whenever I watch like movies or something, if they're ever like, hey, we're via... Oh, sorry, the video's still playing. Let me pause that. Oh, I can tell you another fun fact. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Whenever I watch movies or shows, or like they push their ideals like very, I guess, abundantly. Like, hey, this movie is environmental. Like they scream it in your face. I find that it takes away from the message. So I just decided to forego that completely. If I do have like environmental undertones in my animations, it'll be a lot more subtle. I'm not going to take away your enjoyment of my project with my personal ideals. Do I believe in those ideals, and I believe other people should too? Yes. Am I going to force them to by trying to enjoy something else I've made? No. They didn't come to see a TED Talk. They came to have some entertainment. That's just how I see it, personally. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice this. Look at the spelling. Hungered! Maybe that's spelled right. Oh yeah, I'm bad at spelling. Don't you worry. Over time, they hunger for... Oh yeah, right there. Perfect example. Perfect example. His coat and the white text. It's almost undecipherable. And also, I can tell you a fun fact. Let me rewind a bit. This. Oh, yeah. Okay. Where? There it is. Okay, so this, the Red Engineer's house, this is the Heavy's house. If you look closely at, I guess the shape of the place and the tree placement, and go back to Heavy's Monstrous Night, yeah, it's the exact same house. I used them both. Again, this is non-canon, so don't worry about, consistency, I guess. Not that you would, but yeah. Ooh. And all that war began. Yeah, there's gonna be like a war undertone to this too. And you'll be able to see a bit from the what's it called episode? Oh yeah, the one that's lost to time. Which, even though I said I didn't want to use inklings, you can clearly see there are inklings here. As well as Yoshi with no pupils. Pupils. And the inkling in the original episode was a part of the good team, but she ended up betraying them. Why? I still don't know, honestly. I just thought it'd be, ooh, evil inkling. That'd be cool. So I did that. And again, very happy she died. That sounds awful out of context. My goodness. But very happy she's not a part of this series because she breaks the dynamic. And even then, only one of these characters would return, which I didn't even know Yoshi was going to be the main character when I made this. Originally, Heavy was going to be the main character, and Yoshi was going to be like an accent. But Spy, Heavy, and Inkling were replaced with Lil and the Smash. The Smash! Yeah, that happened. But what else was I had something I was gonna say. Did I forget? Yes, I remember. Okay, so when I make my animations, I have rules. Like I like obviously like when making models and also like creating an animation, it's all gonna look relatively the same sometimes. But I have guidelines that I always must meet to make up of my style. One of those is pupils must always be visible at all times. There can never be a single frame where a pupil is just gone, unless it's being used for like, oh no, they're shocked, oh no, they're scared. Because otherwise that just looks uncanny. So seeing this now is like sacrilegious, honestly. Oh yeah, he's with the punch. You saw the fist? Here it comes. Bop. And this segment showing the red team was supposed to have dialogue, but I was short on time. You want to know why I was short on time? I'll let you know later in this episode. But it's a fun story, don't worry. Doing right now! Oh, Wario and Waluigi are gonna come around. Ready to go. Okay, I know that I talk a lot of stuff about the original stuff I made. I love this pose they do. I don't know why. It just has so much. The fact that they like run in and like, yeah, it's me, Waluigi and Wario. Which, by the way, while I'm on the topic of Waluigi and Wario, before I forget, you'll notice Waluigi, except in this episode, Waluigi has I voice act Waluigi because it's a voice I can do. Relatively speaking, I cannot do a Wario voice to save my life. I mean, let me try. Cover your ears. You're about to hear something awful. Wario. It just sounds like Roy. Like
It's a me, Wario. Hello. I am fat and I eat garlic and I own a gaming company. Wario.
no, it just doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't, which sucks because I wish I could voice act their banter. But Waluigi, again, is the more important character between the two of them because Waluigi's kind of like he's a guy that occasionally shows up, helps out, pranks Yoshi, kind of like a Squidward to the group. He's not really part of the main trio, but I'm getting besides the point. Those two are, I like them. They're fun to animate. They're actually really fun to animate. Waluigi in particular, his model is so expressive. I love it so much. But he's even more fun to voice act because he's one of the only characters that I don't need to modify my voice for. Like with Nitro Man, obviously. This is what I sound like without modifying Nitro Man's voice.
This is what I sound like without modifying the Smash's voice.
Waluigi can just exist on his own. He doesn't require anything. He's all natural, baby. Yeah.
And also an NPC walking in the background. Don't know why I did that. There's an obvious for trying to get to the pool before ya. You cannot beat. Oh, yes, I can tell you now. Oh, fun fact, you see this dark screen? That's not a fade to black. That's me moving the camera into a dark corner of the map. If you up the brightness, you should be able to see where it went. But this segment right here, let me take you back to the 4th of July. So it's the 4th of July, fireworks, Independence Day, and my friends are hosting a 4th of July party. I decided not to go because I wanted to finish this and I wanted them to see this animation. Everything else you see here was finished in one day, which is nuts. It's so nuts. And in order to do that, I had to cut a lot of corners. Exhibit A. Remember when I talked about free camera movement? You're in for a treat, bucko. Also, Star Cup, represented by another alcoholic drink. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, okay, so here we go. So, oh, I didn't even notice that before. Waluigi has a chair? I forgot doing that. So the heavy here and his car. His car, you're allowed to, in SFM, you're allowed to lock things together. So if one thing moves, the other moves, and vice versa. Or if you don't want something to move, you can also lock it manually. Right here, I locked the heavy, his pool noodles and stuff, and his car onto the camera. So wherever I moved and looked at the camera, the heavy would go. This whole segment you're gonna see is me manually piloting the camera. Yeah, so if you wonder why the car floats, it's because literally I'm making it float. It's kind of funny. Beep. There he goes. And also, Wario and Waluigi were the only ones that are actually animated. And you should see him go through a wall. Why? Again, I was pressed for time when making this. But heavy wins. Yay. Lemmy time. Okay. I feel like I'm going to keep saying I'm proud of myself for making this, but at the time, this whole Lemmy backflip thing, I'm still kind of like, yeah, at the time, that was really cool for me. So yeah, Lemmy attacks heavy. This is the first fight, which if you're wondering why I put a lot of fight scenes in my animations, as a kid growing up playing video games, I loved boss battles. I still do. Boss battles make or break games for me. And in order to get that across, or at least, I guess, to kind of like show my liking for it, I decided to make almost every single one of my animations have a fight scene, which recently has kind of dropped down. But trust me, it's going to pick back up. In fact, this new animation I'm making is going to have one dynamic fight. So stay tuned for that. But why does Lemmy attack heavy? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why Lemmy attacks heavy. He says, like, you're leaving through town. That was reason enough to arrest you. But I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Play. There we go. Well, you were clearly just leaving through town, and I think that's reason enough to arrest you. Donkey Kong! Sorry I'm late. Being the only police officer is difficult. I don't care. That's funny. It's canon. That is still true. I don't care. That is true. This sucks! Oh, wait! Yes, okay. So that line, Lemmy says, well, this sucks! I think that's my favorite line of voice. My goodness. Gotta wake up. My favorite voice line I've ever recorded. Just the visceral look at the camera. Well, this sucks! I love it so much. Okay, so when making animations, it's hard and difficult. Looking back at the stuff you've made, it's like the most gratifying thing on earth I've ever experienced. It is so fun to look back at what you've made. And I'm so happy I'm even doing this and talking to you guys. You may not even care, but I'm having the time of my life, so buckle up. It's great. Being the only police officer is difficult. This sucks! No matter. I just get my great balls of fire! Yeah. So that's from, what's it called? Big Balls Song. I think that's from AC/DC. Let me look it up. A big, I'm using my phone right now. Big Ball Song. Yeah, that's from AC/DC. And that came from a bet from one of my family members. They said, I dare you to make a Great Ball of Fire joke. Enter Lemmy. Why does he use balls? Let's light him on fire. And the rest is history. Dodge, dodge, and a Shin Shoryuken to the freaking, what's it called? Neck. My goodness, I woke up too early for this. But if you look closely here, you'll notice Lemmy's all stretched out. I don't remember why. And then he goes flying. And also, oh yeah, so in SFM, you're allowed to manually enter game mode, which essentially, if you ever play TF2, you're essentially playing TF2 inside of your animation world. That sounds way cooler than it actually is, because what you can effectively do in it is record yourself as a player. Which again, is cool if you want to use TF2 characters. But, yeah, looking back at it, you can easily tell. That's me. That's me on my keyboard and mouse, playing a video game. It might as well be a Let's Play channel, because there I am running around in the game world. It's kind of fun. That's like one of the most unique, and I guess, yeah. No, I like the SFM program, even though it gives me a lot of grief. Don't your own tiny baby size. You're good. He jumps in the water. He did it. And introduction to Yoshi, who looks very schizophrenic there. I don't know why. Spy, who doesn't really show. I don't want him to show up again. And Demolition Man. Oh no! Why is he here? And I'm still kind of confused on this. Oh yeah, this is their team. Their leaders saying like, you gotta collect the minerals. What are the minerals? The MacGuffin. I actually used the minerals for a very long time. I still kind of do. I think they have some latent potential. Double meaning. Wait, no, not double meaning. Latent potential. Make of that as you will. But I might use them more. But the minerals are kind of taking a backseat to the new conflict I have brewing up. And the day. Oh yeah, so if you look closely, Engineer has a moving mouth. Medic has a mask. Why is that? Because I was pressed for time, and I didn't want to lip sync. Started like, oh, this is really bad. And you're like, all the yellow dots represent minerals. What? Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there are going to be 4 episodes. That eventually changed. An extremely valuable resource that can wipe the other team out. How? I don't know. It's crucial you take it, you have 1 week, and then it's over. Yeah, that was Rapids. I really have nothing else to say, and it's gone on long enough. But yeah, if you want more behind the scenes type stuff, by all means, voice your opinion. Feel free. But I had fun making this, honestly. I think I should do this more. It's kind of therapeutic. But yeah, I'll maybe see you guys later, whenever it's done. I don't know. Outro.